Hello, and welcome to the State of the Mets. I'm Andrew Vazano of TheRopolitans.com, and this is the 8th edition of my weekly web show all about the New York Mets. Today we'll be covering Luis Castillo, Fernando Tatis, and the race for the 5th spot in the rotation.
And it's out of here!
First up, we have Luis Castillo. Now, the Mets played the Cardinals on Friday in Jupiter, Florida, and Castillo had to leave the game after only 2 at-bats. He was seen right after the game with his leg wrapped and iced up, so apparently his left hamstring had been bothering him. Obviously not a good sign for anyone, especially the Mets. They're depending on Castillo to be an everyday player, to tough it out, and to play games. Obviously there's only spring training, so you have to take every precaution necessary. But for Castillo to have to leave a game before he was slated to is not a good sign. It's something to keep your eye on as Mets fans, as fantasy baseball players, I don't know who would draft him, and as for the Mets. Castillo has an albatross of a contract. Everyone knows it. So the Mets are going to have him, and the Mets fans are going to have him under a magnifying glass. If he can't perform, he's going to get run out of this city. Obviously, it's very early in spring training. It's only the second or third week where they're actually playing real games. So you can take this all with a grain of salt, but it's not a good sign to see Castillo already having to leave games early and get wrapped up and iced up at any point in time. Next up, we have Fernando Tatis. Now, Tatis has been tabbed as the new third baseman for the Dominican Republic after Alex Rodriguez and his now infamous hip cyst have dropped out of the competition. It's very good news for Tatis. Good for him. He gets to represent his country. He gets to play baseball for his country. But it's something as Mets fans to keep your eye on because Tatis did miss the first few games of spring training with a sore hand. Now, the injury was never revealed as to why he had a sore hand or what caused it, but he did miss those games, and the Mets, obviously didn't feel more comfortable enough playing him in those games. So it's something to keep your eye on. Who knows if the Dominican manager will maybe push him through an injury, or if Tatis will play through an injury just so he can represent his own team, his country. So just keep that in mind as Tatis plays for the Dominican Republic. I wish all of the players from the Mets that are in the World Baseball Classic the best of luck. I'm obviously pulling for Team USA. I think Putz and Wright on that team are going to be nasty. I can't wait to see what JJ Putz can do in real competition. So it's good to see, good for Tatis, but hopefully he stays healthy and there are no issues. And finally, we have the race for the 5th spot in the rotation. Right now, as it stands, it looks like Livan Hernandez is actually leading the race to be the Mets' 5th starter. Freddie Garcia's fastball tops out at the mid-80s, and he doesn't seem to have the command that he used to. Tim Redding has been hindered by an injury and hasn't faced any live spring training batters against other teams. He's only thrown batting practice so far. So, of those 3, it looks like Livan Hernandez could be the Mets' 5th starter. Obviously, the guys like Bobby Parnell, John Neese have shown, decent ability, but it doesn't seem like they're going to press any more than Hernandez already has. So if the season started today, I would pick Livan Hernandez. I can't believe I'm saying this. I would pick Livan Hernandez to be the Mets' 5th starter. Now, the schedule works out that Hernandez probably wouldn't be needed until probably the second week of the regular season. But if Johan Santana maybe can't go, that 5th starter would be more necessary than they usually are this early in the year. So right now, I cannot believe it, but Livan Hernandez actually could be on the Mets roster, be the Mets' 5th starter, and be something that they would need to rely on. So Livan Hernandez, if you keep up the good work and you eat up 200 innings this year, then more power to you. Just please do not give up so many hits, and please do not have an ERA over 5. So that's it for this week's The State of the Mets. I'm Andrew Vazano from TheRopolitans.com. Thanks for watching.
Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets are real.